Welcome to Tower Gardening Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. If you're new here, thank you so much for coming by, and be sure to click that button below and grow our community. Let's get into today's video. Welcome back. Today's video is going to be just basically some hard work that's going to be happening in the grow room. I need to pay some attention to the towers. I've got some water, I've got some pH, I've got some seedlings that they're not ready quite yet, but I want to go on in this journey, and we're going to just go through a bunch of stuff that's happened over the past week. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start doing some water. I've got two towers that are really drinking a lot. The room that they're in is extremely warm, so they're drinking a lot, and a lot of the water does get evaporated into the air as well. So we're going to go ahead and fill up these 3 tanks. They're not completely empty, but pretty darn close. And I use this cover, and I go all the way down to the bottom. And if it's about halfway, then it's time to go ahead and fill. Now these tanks are 20 gallons, and I use a Home Depot bucket, which is 5. So you need basically about 4 of them to fill it up. So I'm thinking they'll probably need 3 each, because there is just a little bit of water on the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and use this fun little new tool that I have. It's a pH tester, and I've kind of given up on the old method. So we're going to use this and go against the old one to make sure that this is accurate, which I did the other day, but I want to show you guys. So let's go ahead and just work. This thing is really heavy. This is bucket number 2. We're getting a little water on the floor. No big deal. That's okay. It's going to happen. It's all part of the process. So I would say I'm going to leave that one. The water line is... it's hard to see. Yeah. So 2 buckets on the tomato tower. I'm sorry, the cucumber tower. Cucumber tower is full. There are 2 buckets, so we'll do the nutrients in a minute, but when we finish all of this. So let's work on the pepper. The pepper is about, I want to say, a half. So I'm going to go ahead and just top that off, and then we'll do nutrients. So I'll be right back. One of these Home Depot buckets is really just key. I mean, any painter bucket will do, but these are pretty readily available. Yeah. So this is going to be about 1 1/2. Half a bucket. So let's see if this fills it now. I think it should go right to the top. Yep, it's that much from the top, so we're good. So let's move on to the tomato tower, and that's pretty empty. So yeah, that's going to be at least 3 buckets. Okay, bucket number 1. Bucket number 2. you did 2.5. So a half. Let's go get a half. Okay, half bucket going in. It's definitely a workout. Oops. That's one way to wash your floor. Oopsie. Yeah, that's why you got towels. That's okay. Okay, so now what we need to do is the nutrients. So let's wipe this up. And the floor needed a good cleaning anyway. Just make sure you're not watering your electrical cords. Take it from me. Okay, so I'm just toss those up there. Okay, more water. It's all good. Lots of laundry later. Okay. All right, so when the tanks are full, I use, and that's 20 gallons. I would do 1.5 cups of nutrients, A and B. So on the cucumber tower, we only did 2 buckets. So that's really just 3/4 cup of A and B that goes in here, and then she's good to go. So let's do that first. Oh look, I found coffee. Funny enough, I keep it on my warming mat. Okay. We get some A. And A. And we got some B. Alright, I'm going to have to open these up. It's great how they package them. They're all in plastic. So that when they ship them, they don't leak. So that's really good. And so far, with Tower Garden's nutrients, I really like them because the plants love them. They all seem to be doing really, really well. So no complaints. Okay, so I got a little in this vase, so we'll start with A first. So we need, what do we say, 3/4? Okay, so she's dead. We'll recycle that later, that's half. Hello. And that's B. That's A. And it also has this safety thing on the inside that you have to break. So we'll go ahead and do that as well. Okay. All right. So just a scoochie more. Okay. Okay, there she is. So let's go ahead and add her. Now let's do the B. And B is going to have that safety cap too. So I'll have to open it. So I don't know where you guys live, but I'm in the cold up in New England, and I got spring fever bad. I just want to grow. I want to be outdoors. I want to ride my bike, but it's just too cold. So here we go. All right, so she is all set. So we're going to do pH in a minute, so we'll let that sit. We'll mix it. So the tomato tower, we did 2.5. So if I did, so we 1 3/4. It would be. I'm gonna do 3/4 on this as well. I think that would be plenty. And I gotta spin it. As I did spill a lot on the floor. So I really think that's gonna be plenty. Okay, so we'll do A. And then B. Good. We'll mix that up in a minute. So this guy, the pepper tower, we only did 1.5. So I'm going to just do a half, I think, of A and B here. And again, you don't have to be precise. I think that's funny. Half, as I've been kind of winging it, and everything's been on point. I have good problems, and I'll share with those in a minute. All right. So we're just going to mix these up. And then one more over here. The cucumber plant is so big at this point that the hole is getting covered by greenery. So yeah, good problems. All right, here we go. Let's tip it down just a little bit more. Okay, so we're done with the nutrients. Let's cap them and put them away. Stay organized so they don't spill. I don't want someone accidentally sipping it like a dog or cat. Okay, so everything is mixed, and we're going to go ahead and try our new tool. Okay, so let's test the pH with this. So what you want to do with this particular one is you turn it on. And it will have the pH. So all I got to do is just basically dip it in the water up to the water line. And this one is reading, just want to leave it for a couple seconds. It's reading 6.76. So that's right under the 7 mark. And you need to clean it in between towers. So I just spray it with a little bit of water. It's a tad high, so I might just add a cupful in a minute. So let's just do the readings here. Okay, so the pepper tower is a solid 7, so that's definitely going to come down. But I'm also going to double check it with the old school system in a minute, as I just got this. So, I mean, I do trust it, but I just want to make sure. All right, and so the tomato tower, dipping it in, and this one's reading 7 as well. So let's do old school just to double check, okay? So you want to clean it, cap it, dry it. Okay, so the old school is this guy that comes with the tower, has the paper strip, and it has the water measure thing. Drops. So let's just see if the metric was right. Because your pH really needs to be on. One thing I've learned so far with the pH is when your pH is within that range of the 5 to really right under that 7 mark, that it will allow your plants to drink the nutrients. When it's too low or too high, it blocks it, so they don't get the nutrients. So that is why your pH needs to be on point. If you do it once a week, it's fine. But if you have things that are budding, like I do on the pepper and the tomato and the cucumber, you might want to check it once or twice. Okay, so you just bring it up to that 5 ml line, you know, give or take, and then it's 5 drops. Yeah, so this is right on point. It's there. It's right at the 7. No, it's so the reader was correct. So I'm going to go ahead and do pH down, and I have figured out with this particular system, it takes 2 capfuls, and then we'll retest. One, 2. That was a generous pour, because I really just want to test it one more time and be done. Give it a swirl. and you can see it is bright green. So that is 7 for sure. So I'm going to take just a little bit of water, swish this around, dump it. Oops. Go back to the 5. That's right on point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oops. I think I did too much. Okay, here we go. So it's definitely in the range between the 6 and the 6.5. I like that. It's right at that cusp, but not right over. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this a whirl too. So turn it on to the pH, dip it in the water. Still reading. Okay, so now this is reading 5.59, which is perfect. Okay, and that's kind of in that range. It's a little bit different, but I'm happy with that because I can check it in a day or two and it will be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead to this guy. Off, on, oops, cap. Okay, so this is reading 6.81. So again, right under that 7 mark. We'll clean that in a minute. So let's go ahead and old school it, just as a precaution. Okay, 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's not really off. I mean, it's definitely the 6.0 on the higher range. So it's not. It's right where it says it should be. So I'm just going to do 1 capful, and I think that will be plenty. Like a generous pour. There you go. A bartender pour. There we go. Let's give it a swirl. Off, on. On. Okay, so now it's reading the 5.98. Okay, it changed to 6, and that's fine. That's perfect. All right, let's do the cucumbers. And let me shuffle you guys so you can watch me. Give it a swirl. Okay, come on over here. Good. Okay. So let's, gotta dry my hands. You can never have enough like towels and rags around so your fingers don't get pruny. Okay, so let's do the last one. I checked the pH on everybody else the other day and they seemed fine. So we'll go ahead and use this one first. Off, on. Okay, this is reading 5.66. And honestly, that's perfect. But just to be sure, let's do the old school. Just to be sure. I got a lot of fruit that's on here, a lot of cucumbers. I'll show you in a little bit. I'm gonna do a little tour. And like I said, this week we have good problems, and I'll show you what that means. I had to come up with some creative ways to go. Okay, think outside the box on this one, Sherry. Okay, there we go. So 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the meter was right. So here we are. It is right smack dab between the 5.5 and the 6, just as the meter indicated. So I'm not going to add anything. There's no need to. The cucumbers have been pretty low maintenance, to be honest with you. I find the pH jumps up with the peppers and the tomatoes because they're both blooming right now. I'm not a scientist, and I really can't answer that question, but I just know that I've been testing it about twice a week, and that's why I bought the digital. It seems to be right on par after I calibrated it, but I'm still doing this just to make sure until I get really comfortable and trust it, because the pH really is that important. I didn't think it was. I actually listened to another channel where they stated that they don't really pay attention to too much on the pH, and so I was like, okay, that sounds okay. And so I tested originally, and my water seemed to be on point, but the towers were brand new, and that's fine. But as they age and the water in the bottom, and then you keep adding to it, it just gets a little mucky, and especially when you've got a lot of stuff growing, it's going through a lot of water, and there's, you know, some resin that gets rinsed down there. So also to the roots are down there. So if something's not behaving, or it starts to rot a little bit, it's going to give off something into your pH. So that's why it's important, because it will block the nutrients, and your whatever you're trying to grow, whether it's peppers or tomatoes or squash, even lettuce, it's not going to produce what it should or how it should. So again, I'm not a scientist. This is all relatively new, but I think I'm hanging in there. I hope you guys think the same. Comment. But yeah, I got a complete tower of tomatoes ready to go. They're blooming. I got cucumbers everywhere. I got celery. I got almost a harvested summer squash over here, ready to go. We're going to show you. So let me put this stuff away. My room is very small, so the minute things start to get messy and chaotic in here, it feels claustrophobic. So I try to do my best to keep it organized. Let's put this guy away. Okay, so let's do the nursery first. Let me move my coffee, maybe have a sip. Oh, so good. All right, so let's hop into the nursery. So the other day, about a week ago, I bought some more seeds at one of my favorite stores. And right here are beans, and on the back side, right here, is bok choy. Now, I've never grown bok choy, but I've got some Nemiko mushrooms that I'm growing, so I'm just dreaming about making miso soup. And then, of course, the strawberries. So I'm trying to grow some more strawberries. So I went back to the store where I bought that original packet, and I bought three packets. So I put 3 packets in here. And this little guy, he's just he must have fallen into the side because the seeds are very, very, very tiny. And the one thing that I discovered with him showing me that is that I don't think that they like to be covered. I think they want to be uncovered. So I think on the next batch, if this one doesn't take, which I think it looks like it's going to, because I looked in real deep with my glasses and I can start to see some things down in the hole that are just starting to green. But this little guy popped up within 3 days. So I learned a lot from that. So I think the next time I do a tray that I'm not going to use vermiculite. I think that it just doesn't like it, and that may have been the problem on the first round, but they're in the tower. I'm going to swing you guys around. As you can see, they're doing just fine, but I want more. So I'm going to be putting those in the baby green section. So one of the things that I want to do now, after we've done this, is we're going to go ahead and move that lettuce that's on the strawberry tower over to where the summer squash is. I was going to kind of keep them every other, but I made a decision because I got to fire up the last tower for beans. I'm not going to have enough room because I don't have a baby green section in that tower. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bok choy on top of where the strawberry is, and for at least a few of them anyway. And then I'll put a few on the other tower. I'll have just a couple slots. I was counting them out. But these beans spread right up, they're beautiful. I'm really excited to get that tower going. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it. This room is full now. I really thought I could put another tower in here, but with the growth that I have with everybody, I'm feeling that I probably shouldn't put another tower in here because it's really, really warm. Everyone's gotten extremely large, and you've even got the cucumbers climbing on, plumbing when it probably shouldn't be. So I really do think I'm probably going to put it out into the hallway where that bathroom is, or I might put it back where the mushrooms are. But the problem with that I'm going to run into is the lighting. The mushrooms don't really like this particular light. They like kind of like an offset light, which is like in the room, and they're doing fine. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. So that's why I'm thinking maybe the hallway. But that's okay. I can work around it. You just got to figure out. You just come up with a way. But I will, because that's my last tower. Maybe not for good, but for now, because I'm really liking this. I think it's a lot of fun, and there's just so many wonderful things that are happening in this room and in the other room that I'm just having so much fun, and I love sharing it with you guys. And I'm so glad that you're here on the journey. I see the community growing every single day, and I'm so thankful and so grateful. So anybody that's subscribed, my heart goes out because we're doing this together. We're both learning, and I hope I'm inspiring anybody out there that really wants to do this either on a big scale or a little scale. Just get in the game. It's just so much fun. And, people wonder, like, what are you going to do for content? Well, every day that I come down here, there's something new. There's something that got bigger or a good problem, which I'm going to show you. So I did all these seedlings, and one of the good problems I have is that my lettuce, which is right behind me, I'm like to the point where I've got to count all the different slots because I just want to keep growing, and I will. So I'm going to go ahead and move these guys over here, and I'm going to save some room because I think I'm going to put the bok choy there. I think that'll be a really nice spot for them, and then I can still put some more strawberries down here, and then we've got some more things to do. So let's go ahead, and before the root systems get too big, let's go ahead and move them. Okay, so I got the first baby lettuce out, and as you can see on the bottom, the roots are small enough that I can still move these. The one thing I can say what I love about this is when the baby greens are this little, not that you want to sacrifice them, but you know what I have done is I have taken some from each of them. And if you do a stir fry, with maybe some protein, some chicken, and some mushrooms and some other vegetables, and you put these baby greens in there, the taste of them is almost like sweet. It's really, really good. So if you've got a lot of lettuce like I do, and it grows like a weed, you could chop this whole thing off and have this sprouted in seed in your tower within a week. So don't be afraid to experiment because it's really, really tasteful at this stage. So, but I want to get him into this tower because we're going to do the bok choy over there. So here we go. I know I originally said that I don't want to crowd these like last time, but I can't help myself. I just love planting seeds, and I'm running out of room. So I don't know. I guess it's a good addiction to have, right? Look at that. Look how pretty that is. So I think the bok choy will be ready maybe a week or two. We'll see. I checked it this morning and I'm not seeing any roots on the bottom. Hello, Mr. Rockwool falling on the floor. There we go. They're just so cute. Okay, this one's gonna give me a hard time. Okay, no you're not. I'm gonna get you. It's just so lovely. Okay, good. I wanted to move them today because every day the root system gets just a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and I'd rather move them to their permanent spot before they get any bigger, because it just gets a little more difficult. Okay, this rock wall just split, so let's be careful with that. Maybe if I go sideways like this. There we go. That's thinking outside the box. It cracked in half, so I spun it so it sticks back together. You know, a lot of this is just common sense. It really is. I don't know. Sometimes you feel like MacGyver. You know, sometimes you think it's going to go like this when it really goes like that. And that's okay. It sounds like this one's doing the same thing. It's not the root system, it's actually the rock wall. It's just, oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to put you in the back. And again, I'm going to turn it sideways because it split. So I'm glad I'm doing this today, because if they get any bigger, I may have an issue. And this is the last one. Come on, don't give me a hard time. Oh yeah, come on, baby. There we go. No, you're gonna be difficult too. Okay, you're coming. What do we got back here? Anything good? Yeah. Okay, she's in. Okay, so that's all ready for more strawberries and bok choy. So let me just swing you back over here. All right, so I tried this guy earlier. So as you can see, there's nothing. He's super cute and little, but we're at least a week to 2 weeks away. But in those 2 weeks, the lettuce that was in that tower would double in size, and it would be that much more difficult to get out. So I'm glad we did it today. Okay. So these are the green beans, and remember how pretty they are when they get bigger and they blow off that beautiful lavender flower. So that's these guys, and I'm going to do a whole tower of just them, and maybe just a little bit of a halo, a couple of those guys, the bok choy. But they're just so gorgeous, and look how tall they got. So they have outgrown the cover. So now this is where this warming mat and these spider lights that clip on, and you're going to be able to find this in my description. And also I mentioned that I'm working on a website called towergardening, madeeasy.com. It's almost done, and there's going to be a whole section with everything that I use, including these lights. You can get them in a 4 or a 6 head. The 6 head probably would have been a good one because there would have been 2 here. But as you can see that they move, and you can get them nice and low or raise them up. They're on the little spring, and they're warm. I like the other ones too. If you're going to use, to start with the tops. These guys, you see that, with the vents. But after a week or two, you don't really need it because this is nice and warm. It's nice and big. You can get 3 trays on here if you want to. But this is the way to go. I love this system for the second stage because, as you can see, it's really tall and you can adjust it to where you need it. And they're not expensive. So I'm really excited for the website to be done for you guys because it's really going to be informational. It's going to be one-stop shopping so that you can just kind of click and then go and do your thing. But I've done all the hard work for you, and that way your journey with the tower gardening will be made much, much easier. So let's move on. I'm going to swivel the camera around and kind of go through a couple things that I've had to do that, like I said, they were good problems. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. Okay, hi guys. We're back. And this is the summer squash tower that has the baby greens on top. So here are some of the good problems I've had. So this plant right here on the bottom has this beautiful summer squash, okay? And then there's another one that's right there that's pollinated and she's growing. That's how you know that they're pollinated. They just really start to take off and grow. So this actually shifted. This little guy was sitting on top of the halo bar, and it created a divot in the bottom. So I had to move the root to kind of let it to release so that she can just go ahead and do her thing now. The root on this is just, it's pretty massive coming out of that, that net pot right there. So you can just see the girth of the stem. And it's going to provide a lot of support for these plants. But as you can see, that's almost ready to go. And then there's one up here. And again, you just have to watch them because they grow really fast once they're pollinated. They drop that flower and they are off. There's no browning. You can see the little hairs on it. And they're lovely. So just got to keep an eye because they just grow where and when they want. So in this little particular plant, I know this one's pollinated because it's doubled in size like in 3 days. And then underneath it, there's a few more there too. They just drop that flower and just suck up those nutrients and just start to get really, really big. So now that I know how to do the pollination with the paintbrush, those kids' paintbrushes, it's a no-brainer. So see how the summer squash is on top of this, but because the skin on the summer squash is just, it's fragile. So I put one of those plant spacers or labelers underneath the fruit because I don't want it to grow into this or pierce the outside of it. So it will get bigger and then I'll remove it. But for now, I'm just trying to protect the outside of it. So these are all really good problems to have. And so let's just go through a couple of the things that I did. So this was an experiment. I don't know where I got it. It was just kind of made it up, but it started to work. So the strawberry plant's leaves have doubled in size in the past week. And I'm still dealing with a little bit of algae because they were left in the rock wall for so long and they got algae. So I did everything with the hydrogen peroxide and that worked, but then it just kept coming back. So I ended up taking paper towels, little pieces of paper towels. I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see some green right here. But believe it or not, that's a paper towel. So it's blocking, it's like a barrier that's underneath the leaf, but on top of the rock wall. So it's absorbing some of the algae, but it's also protecting the rock wall from growing more because it grows off of light. So ever since I did that, probably Monday, I feel like there's some growth happening here. Because if I'm blocking it, then these guys can go ahead and start drinking the nutrients and get bigger. So I did it on a bunch of them. Let's see if I can find another one. Here's another one. So you can kind of see the paper towel right there. And again, this particular leaf that was suffering, it's Friday and it looks like it's gotten a little bit bigger. And right here, so paper towel, and look at the new growth that happened. So I don't know, maybe I'm onto something. And yeah, so right there. Okay, so then here's what I discovered on my cucumber tower. So look at this lovely thing right here. She's beautiful. Growing. Here's another one. And there's just so many blooms. So many blooms. I mean, it's just magical. How many blooms? Tons and tons. There's a couple more that are pollinated. And then down here, there's another big one. And they're just kind of tucked in here. There's another one up top over here. And then of course, you know, you got the celery that's just out of control right there. I need to cut that back. That's getting a little tall. It's not getting any light from the lights. So that's okay. All good problems to have. And then the peppers. So down here, we have some beautiful flowers that are happening right there. So, and then when you peek inside, you can see little buds everywhere. Yeah, buds everywhere. So this tower is going to yield so many peppers. They're everywhere. And this tower just seems really, really healthy. I mean, every leaf that I pick up, it's just loads and loads of flowers. More and more and more. One right there. Everywhere. They're just gorgeous. So again, this is going to be all yellow and orange ornamental peppers. And then this guy's got loaded with flowers. They're just hide. Well, I moved it around, that's why. There's more on the front side. So, oh, there's a big cluster. Oops. But yeah, on the front side, there's more. Well, that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it of doing the water and the pH and playing with my new toy, which is pretty spot on to the old ways, and going through the towers and looking through the blooms and just seeing what's there and going through some of the good problems, which is as things get bigger, how to support them on the towers, and then just you know, everyday stuff. We're going to fire up that new tower. We're going to get those beans in there probably tomorrow, and the bok choy we're going to put on top of here. We got more strawberries going, and we discovered that we probably should not put vermiculite on them. They don't like it. And that one little sprout of the strawberry taught me that. It was a really good lesson. So again, thank you so much for joining my community. I hope you're enjoying these. Comment below, and we'll see you soon.